Hey everyone, Linda here. This video is part of the Start School program, and today we're going to be focusing on you, and in particular we're going to be focusing on change. Now, as you know, the Start School program has been developed for you as an entrepreneur to understand your business idea, to be able to get your business to market, and really importantly, to focus on you because you are integral to getting your business to market. So as I say, today we're going to be focused on change. Now, if you Google change, you'll find an incredible number of resources. In fact, there's so much, it's really overwhelming. There are also loads and loads of experts and consultants that deal with change. And so why is that? Because change is a really big issue for people. Some people embrace change really easily, and for other people, change can be really quite complicated. So that's some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about at a workshop coming up this Thursday. Now, part of being successful is to keep understanding and anticipating changes and also being able to embrace that change. Some people do that well, other people not so well. People often say that they want change, but they don't necessarily want to change. And there are a lot of reasons for that. You know, there's a lot of fear often around change. There's the fear of the unknown, uncertainty. There's the fear of doing things differently and not being good enough. And when we do things for the first time, we make some changes. Sometimes we feel really clunky. But you've got to take action to actually start feeling confident in the way that you do things. You may well have heard of change fatigue, and it's big particularly in bigger organisations where there is lots of change. I mean, there's lots of change going on in the world, but change fatigue is something that experts and consultants and big organisations talk about fairly regularly. And that is that there is so much change in people's lives, it really zaps people's energy. So when you're going through a process of change, whether it is for yourself and understanding how you accept change, or whether it's for an organisation that you are working with and implementing change, it's really good to understand change fatigue. And it's also great to understand how to prioritise those changes to make them go as smoothly as possible. We're going to be talking about how to make change stick, and you know, old habits do die hard, and so making change stick requires quite a lot of discipline. And how do you actually do that when life is busy and it's really easy to go back to an old habit? So we'll talk about that a little bit more. The other thing that we'll cover off on is what you can control, and you know, you can only change those things that you control. If it's out of your control, you can't change it. Now, people sometimes get focused on the things that they can't control, and again, it consumes an incredible amount of energy. But in order to be successful, you need to put your energy into the most important things, and they are the things that you can control and you can change. I've been doing a lot of behavioural profiling work, and I would really love to share with you some of those behavioural types and how they adapt to change. So that'll be important for you to understand what your behavioural type is and how you approach change. When you understand yourself, it's really easy to understand other people and how they approach change as well. And so there are 4 key behavioural types that I'll talk to you about at the workshop. And they're based on DISC profiling. And if you've ever heard of DISC profiling, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, they are 4 key behavioural types. The first one is dominant. So dominant people, they're the go-getters. They're very fast-paced, very action-oriented, very outcome-focused, and they tend to embrace change pretty easily. The second group is the influencer. And the influencer wants to actually, again, is also pretty fast-paced. They're about the who needs to change and how do we go about that. So they're very much about the who. They love change. In fact, they embrace change wholeheartedly. Sometimes they embrace change for the sake of change, or they like change for the sake of change. Then you get the S type, so they're the stabilizers. They're the people who like a little bit of stability. They're very much the nurturers. They're very people focused. They're not so they're not such embracers of change unless they understand it, and they need to understand the how. How is this going to happen? How is this going to impact people? And that fourth space, the C type, are the compliance. So they're the people who really love a lot of detail. They might be 3 to 5 time convincers. So if you're going to make a change, they need to see proof of why are we making that change before they'll actually start to embrace it. So there's some things that we're going to talk about. It's really cool stuff to learn about and understand. So look, I hope that you'll join me for that change session that's coming up on Thursday. I'm really looking forward to seeing you there. I'm really excited about sharing stories, not just sharing my stories, but hearing about your stories and talking through some of the changes that you've encountered, some of the obstacles, some of the barriers, some of the hurdles, and bring along your real examples, and we can talk about those things as well. So as I say, look forward to seeing you on Thursday, and we're going to talk about you and change. See you there.